Hello and welcome back to Equestria at War, the Kasa Free State under Altu Kexa. And in today's episode, we finish off the buried Majocracy, as they need to be finished off. Okay, you guys are fine. Just stop trying to push. You obviously can't. Okay, as long as I hold the north how it is, they're just gonna starve to death. So, honestly, we're kind of fine where we're at. Nice. I'm just gonna make more convoys for now. I will get. I cannot. I will get more naval dockyards. Dig the dry docks. Dry docks will allow nature to assist in the creation of our fleets. Now that the harbor itself is prepared, we should finish the infrastructure needed to begin the construction of our navy. Woo! Ow. Nope. I would like to delete some so we have enough pony power to do that, but right now I'm kinda needing everyone to hold the fronts. But once I deal with this front, I could probably delete one to do that. Though we are gaining pony power to hold it, it's just we need more to do it at the moment. Oh, shoot. I mean, it's honestly fine, but it's annoying. Prepare land for airstrips. We need places to launch planes from. Therefore, we shall have to make that land available. Fair enough. And there we go. Everyone, head to the main front. They've just been holding out back there. That's actually fine. Now we can push through because of that. Like, that actually gives us an opportunity to push through the line. I'm actually, yeah, I'm okay with that. Oh, wow. They're giving us opportunities left and right. Okay, actually, everyone just push. It's time to just finish this. Except for you. You please get the best defensive person we have and just chill. You did it. You survived the war, troop. Amazing. Woo! We've done it! Alright, time to delete a few troops just to have... Yeah, delete a troop. Just one troop, okay. Delete a troop so we have enough to actually hold that. Alright, we've done it. We've won. We need more. Delete another troop. Now. Alright, when do I get, like, an event or whatever allows me to continue down? Because I know there's, I feel like there's probably more. There we go. I thought so. I was like, where's the event? I know there's more. Liberation. Ethelwine walked through his field outside of Dunbar. He sighed as he stepped through the black-barred dirt. A cannon shot thundered in the distance. He turned back. Dunbar Castle was on fire. He had heard someone back in town complain about it, but really, could it happen any other way? For decades, this castle had been the source of all that had gone wrong, so why not burn it? It's just stones and mortar. And sure enough, when the cousins came, when the Pentarchy died, the serf rushed to loot it and set it on fire. And when the cousin artillery had been happy to contribute, another cannon shot. But Athelwine wasn't sure if he could join in on the fun. Why celebrate when you had already been robbed of everything? The Pentarchy had stolen his crops, his money, his family, even her cousin when they tried and fled to Kasa. Cannon shot. He looked on his field and the other ones in the distance, all black or gray. Even as the music and laughter resonated in the distance, the sight of those fields was overwhelming him. How long would it take to clean the evil magic from these lands, to purge the air of everything that polluted it? Cannon shot. As he looked on, he noticed a ragged Pentarchy banner stuck on a bunch of rubles, flying pathetically in the cold wind before finally snapping and flying in the distance. He thought about tomorrow. What hope was there that things would just go back to normal in an instant? How could so much hardship be eased? What if it couldn't? Boom! A castle collapsed, followed by thunderous stomping of hooves. Athelwine dismissed those thoughts and sat in the dirt, picking a bottle of wine out of his bag. Today the Pentarchy was dead. Today the source of their suffering was gone. Today they were free, and that was enough to celebrate. If only for today. Open the rest of the political tree. Here we go. Shelters from the storm. Despite the castles of the wretched five burning, Baird still has to endure the unnatural storms caused by their insane experiments. Alas, we won't be able to solve this in a day. We will dig in and build strategic bunkers and shelters for the people to hide in when storms hit. Oh no, the communists are moving closer. That's... Oh, wow. Oh, it's just the state of Lake City that's at war with them. Yeah, that's not going to go well for them. Hey, Princess Molly's in charge. That's great news. Alright. Well, we saved them. We did it. It is done. No quarter for beasts. Under the Pentarchy, wild beasts roamed the land, growing stronger as black magic of the wretched five corrupted and twisted them. We will send out our best to fight them and clean the land of the buried. Woo! I think the resisted occupation in this instance isn't actually people resisting us. It's literally the land itself resisting us. And we're using local autonomy to have them stop the land. The stream. Reports from militias in northern towns show that a steady stream of refugees has been going from Beirut. Despite the liberation, the situation in the mountains remains dire, with crop failure and beyond terrible weather conditions. With the disappearance of the threat of the Pindaraki patrols and the newfound safety of the roads, many are simply leaving the near inhabitable mountains to find refuge in Kasa. More worrying is the fact that the situation in the refugee camps of Afaklik was already dire, with only a fragile balance being maintained. Now, if the influx of new refugees is causing shortages and overcrowding. However, there are already private and local initiatives to mitigate the damages. Among them is the newly created Beirut Relief Fund, a charitable organization under the leadership of former candidate Yurthnu and Tindazi, a leading figure in public health and charity works in Fire Report. Together they are already levying funds to help provide for the refugees. Come and rest. The recent refugee influx. Well, we'll take it. We're saving them. We'll accept some downs. It's worth it to save people. It's what we do. Let's also go ahead and deal with these newbies and get them promoted using my new stuff. Kitia showed their decisive leadership during the war, keeping their one man alive as well, so we'll thank them for that. The hammer and the anvil. Obsidian Shine evaded the damn monster's attack once again. It hissed at him. He recognized those creatures, but the entity's corruption had changed them. He used the monster's threat to catch a breath, but soon it was back at him. There was no counterattack this time. He focused and generated a shield, focusing all the power of his horn. It stopped the monster, but didn't deter it. It pressed. Obsidian had to put a hoof down. Monster was not giving up. For spirit's sake. Why couldn't they get more cowardly the more corrupted they got? Then in the distance a shape with wings appeared, flying straight towards them. Great. That pesky beast had a friend. He braced, ready for impact. Perhaps he could still teleport away? No, he didn't have it in him anymore. Then the newly arrived creature struck, but he felt nothing except relief. He opened his eyes, watching the monster hiss, scratch, and struggle. With the griffin, with messy feathers, was hacking away in its back. The broadsword. It was his chance. Obsidian dropped his shield and struck the beast at the neck. It shrieked one last time and fell. He had to stop a moment to catch his breath, then turned to the griffin who had saved his life. He recognized him from a newspaper article from a while back. Jam Bronzoe, the mad griff. The griffin put down his broadsword, smiled at him, climbed up the corpse of the monster, and extended his claw towards Obsidian. Mr. Shine, I presume? Together, even Baird may be overcome. Add one infrastructure, gain compliance. Nice. It's coming together. Slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. Gotta delete some more troops to have enough to supply the garrisons, though. Clean-cut affair. The 5 rulers of the Pentarchy are gone, but it is wrong to blame them for all the crimes. For the regime is more than just the rulers. There were sergeants enforcing their laws, administrators robbing the peasants of their crops, while they starve, and worse. We have their names, and they too shall face justice for what they did in Berid. Alright, whoop whoop. We gotta deal with them. Oh shoot, we have options. Wait, we have options with, there's options within options. There's 4 options for just the people. And now we have, just with this one person, of these 4 people of the same ideology, and this one person has 2. So we could do Fortress of Freedom, or we can do Vanguard of Liberation. I mean, I'm thinking Vanguard. Whoa, we attack Wittenland? Oh, only if they're supremacists or Kong. Okay, we don't actually do that then. Though that does mean I can't go down this part. Which I kind of want to do. I kind of want to just say, like, force it to let me. Because that is something. One quiet day, Altu adjusted her coat as she walked along the dirt path. The wind was cold and insensitive so far north and barren. She had been joined by Field Marshal Solano Labu and Jan Broadzowie. Neither were talking. Despite the victory, there was no mood to laugh or chat when it came to such. They paused upon oak as they climbed up the hill, and each of them, a servant of the Pinarchy, was hanging, gently pushed around by the wind. There was no other sentence for those who helped the 5 monsters blighting Baird for years to come. Aside from the soldiers, the 3 of them were alone in the hill. No cries nor angry yells for the sentenced. They died alone and in silence. Finally, they reached the top and saw the hill chosen for the group executed. Altu then spoke quietly. Northern trees bear a strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root. Black bodies swinging in the northern breeze, strange fruit hanging from the oak trees. Pastoral scene of destitute north, the ruined land and the blighted earth. Scent of lonely daffodils sweet and fresh, then the sudden smell of burning flesh. Here enough is a fruit for the crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind to suck, for the sun to rot, for the trees to drop. Here is a strange and bitter crop. Slavers, hear me, the harvest always comes. Ooh-hoo-hoo. Woo! Kamaso Barid. A commission will be established to oversee Barid affairs, as well as reconstruction, resettlement, and cleansing of the lands. It will be a long time before that land may see light once no more, but we cousins do not fear hard work in the name of freedom. No, we certainly do not. I kind of want to try both paths. This is going to be an extremely long series, isn't it? Well, I do literally every path on every one. Oh my, this series is gonna be so long. But yeah, I kind of want to try both paths and see the events for for both sides. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Well, first let this finish. I'm just gonna do one of these 2 paths for the playthrough, but I'll use the focus autocomplete to see the one I'm not gonna do for the actual playthrough. That way we get to at least see the events and the descriptions for the other one. Alright, Fortress of Freedom. Baird is free, but its liberation did not come without its cost. Did we overstretch ourselves now might give ideas to the neighboring powers. Kasa may now secure its existence so that its freedom will not be squashed by any tyrant. Will not be squashed, and any tyrant will be thrown back. That can be done by either, so I'm gonna not look at that one. Plan resistance cells. As terrible as the idea is, there may be a day when the sun-spangled flag won't fly over our cities, when oppressors would rule us again, and should this happen, we must prepare the resistance so that hope can remain. We will form secret groups of local civilians trained to fight a guerrilla war against any enemy force with weapons, cash, and secret paths. If we are denied peace, we'll make the oppressor's life miserable. It is unfeasible for us to defend our entire land. For this sake, we will fortify our core areas upon the island peninsula, creating an impenetrable line of bunkers and trenches from where we bounce back when the enemy's guard is down. The Bear Deliberation left both soldiers and citizens dead. With the monument to the fallen completed, it is time to bury those we have lost in the hallowed grounds. We must honor them and also those who perished under the cruel tyranny of the Pentarchy. Alright, there we go. Quiet commemoration. It was a strangely beautiful day. Addie, too, thought as the procession made its way to the center of the memoriam. Her husband was helping her carry the wreath of flowers. She watched left and right, rows upon rows of slabs carved from white marble. Upon each of them, name, rank, dates, and places carved in the stone and highlighted with sand. She liked that. Even if Kasa fell, even if the war was forgotten, those would still be there, and a simple wash followed by some sand would reveal what they stood for. Yet it felt only like a balm on a still aching wound. There were so many of them. They finally arrived to the monument, an obelisk made from stones from each region of Kasa. Each liberated land for which Kasan blood had to be shed, and surrounding it a field of gravel, crowned from the same marble as the funerary slabs, symbolizing those who died from the oppression or died to fight it in anonymity. They placed the wreath at the base of the obelisk, then the families followed with Altu took place on the side. Finally, it was time for her to speak. My fellow Kasans, ours is not a happy fight. There is no laughter in the war of cannons and the screams of guns. There is no glory in bloodshed, nor is there in the last words one utters in the bloody dirt. I wish I could say those we lost died with a smile, but there's no truth in this, and truth we owe them. What is true is the duty whose call we all answered, loyally and to the best of our abilities. For we did not vow ourselves to our cause for the promise of loot or grace of kings, but so others may laugh or cry, play or toil, not as slaves or preys, but as free creatures with the same rights of their neighbors and leaders. This is why they took arms, carried their bags days and nights, and charged through the field of duty against bullets, hexes, and shells. We may honor them today with marbles and flowers, but more than these mere temples. Each breath freed slave takes its own monument to their sacrifice, and they will do so for centuries to come. They are still with us in spirit. So that upgrades Monument of Martyrs. The memorial has become a place for grieving family members to remember their beloved ones and to meet others like them. Agardo di Fundo. It is important we know what our foes may plan. For the purpose, we will expand the Seguro Programma to be a fully fledged intelligence agency. We need eyes in every capital and every place where slaves still have to utter those most hard-rolled word. Thank you, Master. Recent reforms to the Seguro Programma have seen the agency increase its focus not simply to foreign missions, but also to domestic intelligence defense. It is hoped this will enable the agency to properly combat any infiltrators seeking to harm Kasa. We have Revova di Diverse. Even in peace, Kasa must never forget its responsibility. There are some who see us fail, who see us in chains again, who would burn Ella Rosecut to the ground. We must remain vigilant, lest all our sacrifices will have been for nothing. Everyone must be ready to do their part in defending our freedom. Limiting access to a weapon does us no good. If we cannot trust our citizens, then how can we expect them to trust us? Arms should be a common part of our daily life as any other tool, and should war come to us, there will be a rifle behind every blade of grass to meet whoever would be foolish enough to come. While an average Kasan family has always held a firearms given the militia structure of the military, those arms tended to be ancestral weapons dating all the way back to Sonora's Pon's army. The recent actions undertaken have not only seen the general number of firearms rise amongst the population, but also adoption of modern fire rifles. It would be a waste to simply demobilize willing and able veterans. Therefore, Altu has decreed the formation of a new security force to ensure rapid deployment against any perceived threats in and out of Kasa. They shall be the pillar of which we build our defense. The modern security force, comprised of military veterans, are dedicated to protecting Kasa. and from any subversive force who threatens the harmonic ideals. Kasa has no imperialistic visions and has no desire to entangle in unjust wars. For this sake, we declare ourselves neutral from any foreign policies. We must make the mistakes of the righteous ones in Bakara, Paniad, or the River Republic, fooled by the commerces of the Coldstream Treaty. We are free and sovereign nation. Or, even if we prefer peace, this does not mean we must stand isolated and alone in the world. How can we inspire others to follow in our footsteps if we refuse to talk to them? Kasa will extend her hoof to those who stand for harmony. So you plant the seeds of freedom like Makawea did with us. Kasa's democracy must remain sacrosanct and the foundation of our nation. To ensure this much and finally appease those who feared that Altu would become a tyrant, she has declared that the first commander's position will from here on be an annually elected position instead of one set for lifetime. Tea break. Altu put down her pen and stretched herself. The citizens cheerfully chirped in the grassy plains near Ilharoska. She smiled and looked on to see her husband reaching in the chair while the children played in hoofball in the garden. She had missed those memories. There was joy in such simplicity away from the buzz and worries of the city. But there was more than that. So many times she had left the city to find refuge here, only to be unable to write or rest. So often did the chains of ruling slithering their way even here, but now things were better. The camps in Offord Cliff were slowly dismantled as ponies found their way to other cities. Literacy had improved, poverty had diminished, and so many other things. There were still fights to be fought, of course, but it seemed as if Kasa was finally back on track. It felt as if history had turned in this part of Griffonia, no longer simply the home of increasing oppression. She grabbed their cup of tea, blowing on it to cool it down. She slowly inhaled, savoring the smell of the tea and the gentle sea breeze. And she smiled. Finally, for a beautiful afternoon, it felt right to step back from it all, enjoy a moment with one's family. And we become the modern first commander. Interesting. Talk to the economics. Kasa's economy lays in a state of limbo since the conflict. Already weak well before Altu even took office, Kasa will need far-reaching reforms if it is to avoid financial collapse and possible Makawean bailout. We can't allow that to happen. Perhaps it is time to meet with these economics and who prefer remedy or pasana and sway them. We go free trade. To fulfill a dream, Manzu Urba wished to eradicate illiteracy from Kasa. It was a worthwhile desire, though the ecstasy prevented her from dedicating enough resources to truly end the terrible situation. We will finish the job today. Kasa, despite being small, still has plenty of land to share. We will gift this land to those in need, so that they make use of it and rebuild their lives for good. But for what point is there in holding on to plains and forests while the common creature wastes away on the streets or tents of Offercliff? Focus. No checks, because I'm just looking at everything. Ideal life. The greatest mistake in modernity is to try and sell the idea of city life as the new norm. Yet cities often come with squalor and overcrowding when the simple life in the countryside brings so much more. Kasa should strive to allow for every pony to be whom they wish to be, and one should be able to afford the rural bliss. A life dedicated to an eternal pursuit for material wealth brings nothing but misery and bitterness to all. No, all of Kasa now knows the truth. A simple life surrounded by friendship and family is the way to live. For a long time, Kasa has had issues competing with cheap foreign import, especially the Makawean good and the smuggled Griffin merchandise. We will give small business funds and state protection so that they are not threatened by international markets. The population began to prefer local goods instead of foreign imports. This has led to further growth for small businesses, especially in the civilian sector. Anti-monopoly measures. The concentration of wealth is a scourge on the land and the root of tyranny. Yet we can always see the seeds of such entrenchment of the elites in our beloved Kasa. Decrees and edicts will be placed to limit size of private companies so they cannot become too powerful or rich, who are mostly non-local. The state can only do so much to help a just economy flourish if the cheaper foreign goods are just next to ours on the store's shelves. To help make up the gap, new tariffs and quotas for imports will be put in place to protect local economies. If an effort to affect our small, fragile economies, implementation of tariffs for foreign products at inevitability will make domestic Kazan products more accessible and cheaper alternative to imported products. No rags or riches. Throughout history, creature kind has been obsessed with the accumulation of wealth, even more so in Griffonia, where the bigots believe griffins are born to do so. It is a meaningless goal, unable to bring happiness. True love and the absence of misery are the only true wealth. Such is our ethos. Happiness is what life must strive for, and Kasa stands to help every creature find without excess. There's no need for sprawling forests of bricks and concrete, nor for palaces adorned with golden leaves. There's joy in simplicity, and we Kasans understand that. Recent effort... Oh, nope. That gave us nothing. Okay. That gave us... that just gave us a new thing for that. Unemployment is an abhorrent social disease that must be eliminated. We will provide employment for all, either in special community projects, local government, non-combat military logistics, or state-sponsored private industry. No pony shall be locked in poverty. Right of employment for all Kazans has been enshrined in the law. This has led to change in view towards industrial labor, leading to increased productivity. Pindigen Producer. Education should not end after school, nor should older creatures be afraid of learning. One only has to look at Atu's husband, for example. One ought to learn for their entire lifetime, and new institutions and education groups across the land will strive to share this passion with all. Ignorance is a disease and none should suffer from. Even if we pursue a simple life, that does not mean we are simple-minded. Rather freed from both wanton materialistic greed and misery, we are free to pursue higher ideals and goals such as high learning. And lastly, weapons for defense. Kasa's freedom is ideal that must be upheld against tyranny. For its sake, we must forge weapons to fight back any who threaten us. And that is everything down this path. I just wanted you to be able to read you guys all of that path, because I'm not going to be doing that in my playthrough. But I think this is a good time to go ahead and end this episode then. I hope you enjoy, and if you did, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button. And as always, peace.